Good morning everyone. Myself Arshdeep Kaur, a member of Shivjyoti Educational Group Kota. Students, today we are here to start with your book First Flight. We would be discussing one of the chapters and we will be taking one poem from your book First Flight in the form of revision. There would be some points that I would be explaining you and narrating you the whole story. So let us begin now. The book First Flight, chapter number 3, Two Stories About Flying. The two stories about flying is basically a story in which the narrator wants you to understand that if you have courage, if you have faith, then definitely you could achieve every difficult task in your life. The fear is the one which conquers your mind, but if you have the courage to fight with that fear, you will succeed in your life. And this has been narrated by the narrator in a very beautiful manner in this story, that is Two Stories About Flying. We would be taking two stories and then we would be understanding what he wants us to understand. His first flight. Now, as the name suggests, the first flight, how a young bird learned his first flight. For the first time, he learned how to fly in the air. In this story, we'll learn that courage plays really a very important role in one's life. There are two ways in taking anything. If you have any passion, any courage or any drive for something, then you put all your efforts in that direction. But what matters is that it should be in a positive sense. Whatever thing you want to achieve in your life, it should be in positive way. If your drives are in negative way, then definitely it may lead to a problem. So let us begin and find out how a young seagull, the name of the bird, a young seagull learned to fly for the first time. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away. So the young seagull, the little bird, was all alone sitting there on the ledge. The parents have flown away, the sister has gone, brothers, those who were of his same age, they all have flown away. He was sitting over there all alone. So what was the reason that he was sitting over there? Because this seagull believed that somewhere or the other he is not having that much courage that he could fly away in the air. He believed that his wings would not support him. He believed that he will fall down and it will lead to a consequent death of him. He was not having an internal faith that I could really achieve it. All his younger brothers, sister, along with the parents, they were flowing there and they all were enjoying. He was left all alone over there. He was sitting over there and glancing at them, that how much they are enjoying. He wanted to join them. It was not that he doesn't want to go there. He wanted to join them, but he was not having the courage to take a first flight and even try for it. He was so much fear conscious. The seagull helplessly watched his parents flying with his brothers and sister. The young seagull was not having any option. He was sitting there on the ledge all alone. He was seeing how his brothers and sisters are enjoying. The parents have also been with them. They are just learning they are learning different types of moves, that how they have to move in the air and what all things they have to do when they fly. Parents have become their tutorials and they are teaching the brothers and sister how to fly in the air. Seeing these things, he is really feeling very disheartened and disappointed that where my brothers and sisters are there, with the whole family is there, I cannot go over there. He was really feeling disheartened, sitting all alone. Now, no one has been taking care of him. He has not eaten anything from past 24 hours. He was almost feeling fainted. Now the parents came, they tried to make him encourage that Seagull, just learn, you have to learn this. They first of all, they just made him understand with all, you could say, with all love and affection, that you should go and take your flight with us, we are with you. But Seagull was very much stubborn. He was not listening. Actually, he was fear stricken. He was not having that courage to take his first flight. So he was not answering to them. Then the parents become really very annoyed and said that you have to try at least one. They started shouting and yelling at him that no, you cannot sit like this, at least try. But the love, affection, anger did not work. The Seagull was not prepared to take a single flight also. Then what happened? Everyone was there in the sky. The young Seagull stand on one of his feet and just acted like he is fainting so that anyone could take a look at him. The mother Seagull just saw him doing so and she came over there. He saw his mother holding a piece of fish in her beak. So mother Seagull saw that he is fainting. The child was really very much in hunger. The basic drive right now for him was food. He wanted to have food, so he was playing different types of tantrums. What he was doing, he was trying to convey them. He was trying to convince them that I need food, come to me, don't go. And because of all such things, he was doing such acts. So mother saw at him and mother just came with holding a piece of fish in her beak. Looking at this, he was just very much happy that my mother has come. Let's see now what happens. Maddened by hunger, Seagull dived at the fish. He was very much hungry. So when he saw the particular fish, he just dived at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outward and downward into space. Now mother was standing at the ledge. Over here, Seagull was there. So mother just came with the piece of fish in her beak, and what she was doing, she was moving a bit behind. Every time she was going back, and Seagull was approaching near to the mother. Why? Because he was feeling hungry. He desperately wanted to have that fish. He has not eaten anything. Someone has come to him with the food, and that he doesn't want to miss that sight. He was really thinking that why my mother is going back and back. If she has come to give me food, then she should give me. But mother just made him come to the ledge, and after that what happened? Mother flew away in the sky, and in order to take that fish from her, this young Seagull also took a flight. Unknowingly, he was in the sky, outward and downward into the space. And now he was just knowing what is happening with me. He was there. He has taken his first flight. There was stomach ache that he was having. His wings have started flapping. It was not flapping in the real way it should be, but at least it was flapping. The air was coming down his chest and moving and going. He was really very much fear struck that what happened with me. So the drive of that fish, that food, has taken him to take his first flight. The mother has made him took his first flight. The mother knew that he was feeling hungry. So what was the drive? The drive that he was having was he wanted to have the food, and for that food he took his first flight unknowingly. So what matters is, fear is something that conquers your mind until and unless you do not have a reason to chase that thing. But the moment you get a reason to overcome your fear, then what happens? You just overcome it. And how it happens? If you have a drive of something, but you are having fear against that thing, someday that drive will become so much for you that you will have to take your first flight, like the young Seagull took. Now he was flying over the sea. Now Seagull was first in the sky. He was really enjoying over there. Now he has to learn how to fly over the sea, and then he has to move inside the sea in order to get his food. because fish are there on the surface and he has to go a bit down with the help of his legs, and he has to took the fish out from the sea. So that was happening, and he was learning how to fly over the sea. First of all, what happened, his legs were not so much stagnant that he could go inside the sea, he was just drawing down the sea again and again. But after that, the mother taught him that how to go and take the fish out from there. He followed and he learned. Now he was able to float on the surface of the sea. He was floating on the sea, and his family was praising him, offering him pieces of fish. Now the family was really very happy because the young seagull has finally learned how to fly, how to take the food, how to float on the sea. Seeing so many things, the parents were really happy. The brothers and sisters were praising him, and in order to make him feel special, they were having fishes in their beaks. They were offering him as a gift. So in this lesson, we have learned that basically the first flight tells us that if you have a drive for something, then fear cannot be an obstacle. One day or the other, that drive will make you overcome that fear, and you will also take your first flight. Let us take another story from the same chapter, that is the Black Aeroplane. The Black Aeroplane is the story of a Dakota, you could say it was the name of the plane, a pilot who was really very much keen that he wanted to go to his home and take the breakfast with his family. So the urge of that meeting that he wanted to have, he wanted to meet his family and take the breakfast, he just decided that he will take a flight in the night only, and so that in the morning he could reach to them and he could enjoy his meal with his family. So let us see what happens with this Black Aeroplane. The narrator was flying his Dakota aeroplane France to England. Now narrator was where he was in France, and now he was trying to go to England because he wanted to have his breakfast, his British breakfast with whom? With his family members. So he decided that he will take the flight from France. He will drove his aeroplane and he will go over there only at night. Suddenly he saw dark black storm clouds. Now he was going over there, everything was really very good. What happened? The control room, he tried to call the control room, and from the radio station he just said that flight number 117 has taken off. Everything was working very good. He was going over from Paris. But what happened in Paris? There were black dark storm clouds surrounding the whole sky. Now he was having two options. What was the option, children? Either he could go back to France from the Paris only, he could stay over there, or he was having another option that he could go in the storms with the plane and get to his destination, that was England. On that side, he was having his family whom he wanted to meet desperately, and right now in Paris where he was standing at the urge, he was having a chance that he could U-turn, go back and do what? And wait in France that he will take a flight tomorrow morning. But his desire was so high, his unsuccessful drive was so high that he decided that I will go in the storm and I will reach to my family and meet to them. This desire only made him go in the storms. He took the risk and the plane went straight into them. He took the risk, and what did he do? The plane just went right into the storm. Right there, he just decided that okay, I will go here and I will enjoy my journey. Whatever will happen, I will face in the storm, but at least I will able to meet my family members. Let's see what happened. He could not believe when he found his compass and instruments totally dead. The moment he just got into the storm, what happened? he was not all the radio instruments, the compass, because everywhere there was black storm clouds, and he was in the clouds. Over there all the connections with the earth was being disconnected. The instruments, compass, radio, everything had stopped working. He was not able to see a single thing in the dark clouds. So what happened? In the radio, he just thought that let me connect to the radio station and I will tell that I have been caught up into the storm. But he was not able to connect, and he was totally fear struck that now what I will do. Suddenly another aeroplane appeared and he could see the face of the pilot. Now what happened? That another aeroplane somewhere around just came in the storm, and just he was there beside him, and he was not able to see exactly the face, but he recognized that some pilot is there inside, and now he has to follow that pilot. The pilot said that just follow me, I'll make you out. He came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines in front of him. He was continuously following that black aeroplane and he was just going after that. And at that time what happened, that his fuel tank was going to get over. There was no fuel left. So he was really very much fear struck that what happened if my fuel gets over in between. But somewhere the storm was over. He was able to see two straight lines, and what were these? This was the runway where he needed to land. The pilot of the black aeroplane remained an unsolved mystery for the narrator. Now what happened the moment the flight landed? He just ran towards the control room. Over there a lady was sitting. In the control room he inquired that please tell me that who was the pilot of that black aeroplane, as I want to thank him from all my heart. He just looked here, there, but no one was there. So the lady said, sir, you are mistaken. There was no such pilot. I think you need to go again. So the lady made him say that it's not possible. So the story was a mystery, that from where the black aeroplane came and helped. So in the end of the story, what message did we get? If you have a strong drive, if you have a strong inner sense that you want to achieve that thing, so you will achieve that thing. Students, let us come to the important questions. Students, now discuss some of the important questions of your textbook. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space. Then a monstrous terror seized him and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing. Who is she in the above passage? In this passage, she is the young seagull's mother. The seagull's mother is approaching near the seagull, and the seagull is looking at him that why my mother is not coming to me. She has come to me to offer me a fish as I was hungry. So she refers to the young seagull's mother. Why did he dive at the fish? Now why the young seagull just dived at the fish? He dived at the fish because he was hungry. He has not eaten anything from past 24 hours. So looking at the site where his mother has come to offer him a fish in her beak, he just dived at it. Why did his heart stand still? So why his heart stand still? Because he was unconsciously, he just took his first flight, and it was really very much fearful thing for him. How did the seagull express his excitement when he saw his mother bringing food to him? How he expressed that he is very happy? He left out and tapped the rock with his feet, expressing his joy. Now he just left out everything and he tapped at the feet because he was very happy, at the rock also with the feet, because he was feeling happy, okay, that my mother has bought food for me, and seeing that he became very excited. Now we would be seeing some important questions from the black aeroplane. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. This stanza basically describes that when the pilot was in the storm, at that time what happened? That description has been given over here, and he was following like an obedient child. Let's see the questions framed out of it. Who does he refer to in the first sentence? So, who does he refers over here? He turned. So, he refers to the pilot of the black aeroplane. Why did the pilot of the black aeroplane bring his plane in front of the Dakota aeroplane? So, the pilot of the other aeroplane had come to help the narrator. So, that's why he just put his plane in front of him so that he could follow him, and Dakota plane could also leave the storm and could get cured from this situation. How was the pilot of the Dakota plane an obedient child? Now, why the pilot has been considered as an obedient child? Because the pilot of the Dakota plane followed and obeyed him in a very good manner. As he said that you just follow me, in a good way he followed him. How did the pilot of Dakota land safely through the storm? So, how he landed safely? Suddenly the pilot of Dakota saw a black aeroplane. Its pilot guided and brought him safely out of storm clouds, and he landed at the airport. So, there was a plane, a mysterious plane, black aeroplane. He followed it like an obedient child, and after that he came out safely from the storm and landed at the airport. Students, now let us begin with the poem number 5 from your book First Flight only, the Ball poem written by John Berman. Now, the Ball poem is basically a poetry in which he has told about that how a person should overcome his fear. His fear of losing something makes him grow more and more. Anything in this world is not constant. If you have something today which is really very much dear to you, but it might be possible that that particular thing would not be with you the very next moment. We as a human, we should understand that this is a part of life. Losing is a part of life and we should move on with it. In this poem, the poet has narrated a very beautiful incident and had made you understand, he would like to make you understand that how you should let go the things. The losses in our lives is not our choice, but sufferings are our choice. If we keep on crying over the same thing, then there is no use of it. Whatever we lose today would definitely be coming tomorrow. You have to go on with the life, and this is the basic theme of the poem. So, let us begin with it and see what happens in this Ball poem. Let us see now that what the poet wants us to understand. The poem is about a young boy who loses his ball. Now, the poem is about a young boy and he loses his ball. This ball means a lot to him because this ball was with him since his childhood. He used to play with it, he used to create a lot of memories with it. Until date, the ball was with him. He used to love it and he was having a deeper connection with the ball. And what happened? One fine day when he was playing with the ball, and suddenly the ball started bouncing and it fell into a harbor. So, let us see. He was playing and saw the ball bouncing down the street. Now, he was playing with the same ball and the ball started bouncing down the street. It was going there and he was standing over there and seeing that the ball is going. The ball, after bouncing, fell into a harbor. Now he was feeling helpless. He only stands there helplessly mourning at the loss of the ball. Now what happened? He is continuously seeing the ball. He cannot go to the harbor in order to take out the ball, and now he is crying, he is shivering that my ball has gone. There is sure that he could purchase a new ball, it is for sure, and he might get a new ball like that same identical ball. But what about the memories that he was having? From where would he bought that memories that he has created since childhood with that ball? So that was the reason that he just got stuck, and he was continuously staring at the ball. And when he was looking at the ball, he was memorizing each and every moment that he has lived with the ball. And he was able to think that the ball that is in the harbor, now he cannot get it back, and now what to do, means how he would get the same old memories back. The innocent childhood that he has lost cannot be replaced or brought back with money. Now the ball is gone. The poet wants you to understand that the childhood that was connected with the ball, now he has grown up. He need to understand that in a human's life nothing is constant. You love something today, it might not be with you the very next moment, and you have to go through with it. The sufferings, the loss is a part of life. So the innocent childhood has now been lost, and it cannot be replaced or bought back with money. That means that a new ball could be bought. Of course, it could be bought with same identical ball, but money would not make you buy that childhood memories that was connected with the ball. That cannot come back. Somewhere or the other, it is lost now forever. Wealth cannot buy life and time. Money is something which is a basic need for every human being. But along with that, the poet wants you to understand, whatever thing money could make you buy, but it will never make you buy life and time. These two things, the happiness of life cannot be just bought by money. You could give the ball, a new ball to the boy, and we could say that you could play with it now. But he would not be happy. He was happy with that old ball only because it was having a connection with him, the memories with him. Now crying over it is not an option. What option did he have now? The only option left with him was that he has to understand that loss is a part of life, and he has to move on with that thing. He has to go ahead in life realizing the fact that losses is a part of life, and he has to learn to overcome such a loss. If today the poet wants to console that boy, he is not doing that. Why so? Because the poet wants him to understand that he should learn, the time has come that he should learn how he need to recover the loss of losing something from his life. He comes to know that losing is a part of life. As I told you, in the end of the poem, the young boy understands that losing is a part of life. If we are today, we are living a life, so for sure we will lose something, we will get something, we might not be getting everything in the world that we want, and we might be, some things might be taken apart from our lives which we really love. But because life is there, so we have to move on, and this was the basic message of the poem. I think you all have understood. Now we will discuss some of the important questions. Students, let us see some of the important questions from your poetry number 5, the ball poem. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Now the stanza has been taken explaining the situation that when the ball has been felt in the harbor. Name the poem and the poet. So the name of the poem is the ball poem. and poet is John Berman. Why is the boy fixed with shaking grief? Now why the boy is having that shaking fear grief in him? Because he has lost his ball. The ball along with him, along with that ball, there were a lot of childhood memories that have been lost. Where is the ball gone? So the ball has gone into a lake or a pond, and in a specific word if we say it's an harbor. What does all his young days means? All his young days is a very beautiful phrase used by the poet, denoting that the memories of his young days which were attached with that particular ball has been lost. So it signifies the loss that he was going through because of the ball. Next question. I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball is worthless. Now he senses his first responsibility. In a world of possessions, people will take balls, balls would be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. What does the boy senses? So for the first time, the boy realizes his responsibility. What was his responsibility? His responsibility was basically understanding that the loss is a part of life and he has to learn to overcome such losses. What do you mean by the word of possessions? Possessions basically means ownership. In this world, everyone says that this is my book, that is your family, this house belongs to me. So in this world of possessions, in this world of ownership, where everyone is in the race that to claim that this property is mine, this person is mine, the family belongs to me. So over here it means man's possessions in life like family, friends and memories. Why would the poet not intrude him? So why the poet don't want to intrude him, interrupt him? Because he wants him to understand his responsibility so that in further life he would not be so weak. What according to the poet is external? What is not yours? It's external factor, that is money. Money is something external, it is not yours. So students, I hope you have understood it. Thank you.